Bensdorff, Labaca, and Delorme dive into the Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation positional variation in this thrilling French Top 16 Club Championship 2025 higher pool round 3 encounter. On d4. On d5. On c4. Threatening pawn takes d5. On e6. Knight c3. Knight f6. Pawn takes d5. Pawn takes d5. We are now in the Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation positional variation. Bishop g5. Pawn c6. Pawn e3. Bishop d6. Bishop d3. King castled kingside. Queen c2. Threatening bishop takes h7 check. On h6 played by Delorme. Threatening pawn takes g5. Bishop h4 played by Bensdorff, Labaca. Rook e8. Knight ge2. On a5. On a3. Knight a6. On h3. Knight c7. King castled kingside. Knight e6. Bishop g3. Knight g5. Rook fe1. Knight ge4. Bishop takes d6. Knight takes d6. It is novelty move. Knight a4. Knight fe4. On f3. Knight g5. Threatening rook takes e3. Knight g3 played by Bensdorff, Labaca. Queen f6. Knight b6. Threatening knight takes a8. Rook b8 played by Delorme. Knight takes c8. Rook takes c8. King h2. On g6. Queen c3. On a4. Queen b4. On b5. Rook a d1. On h5. Delorme is preparing to play. Knight c4. Bishop takes c4. Pawn takes c4. Queen takes a4. Rook b8. Queen c2. Rook b3. Queen f2. Pawn h4, and establish a winning position. Knight f1 played by Bensdorff, Labaca. On h4. King g1. Knight f5. Queen d2. Knight e6. Knight h2. Knight d6. Knight g4. Threatening knight takes f6 check. Queen d8 played by Delorme. Queen f2. King g7. Do not rush. Can you find the strongest move for Bensdorff, Labaca? Pawn f4 is logical continuation as Rook c7. Bishop b1. Knight f8. Rook f1. Knight d7. On f5 Bensdorff, Labaca have small advantage. Let's explore the main line. King g7. On e4 slightly worse move played by Bensdorff, Labaca. Bensdorff, Labaca intends to play. On e5. Knight f5. Bishop takes f5. Pawn takes f5. Knight f6. Rook h8. Queen c2, and gain a significant edge. Knight f4 played by Delorme. Delorme is planning to play. Pawn takes e4. Pawn takes e4. Knight takes d3. Rook takes d3. Knight takes e4, and take decisive advantage. Bishop b1 played by Bensdorff, Labaca. Knight c4. On e5. Queen g5. Bishop a2. Rook b8. Rook f1. Queen e7. Queen c2. Rook bd8. Queen f2. Queen g5. King h2. Rook b8. Take a moment to spot the best move for Ben-Stokes-Labaca. Queen c2 is the right idea because Rook b7. Rook f2. Rook f8. Queen c1. Rook fb8. King h1 position is equal. Let's analyze the main game. Rook b8. Knight f6 is not the best move played by Ben-Stokes-Labaca. Rook e7. Delorme wants to play Knight e3. On b4. On takes b3 and take decisive advantage. Knight g4 played by Ben-Stokes-Labaca. Rook e8. Queen c2. Queen f5. Threatening queen takes c2. Queen takes f5 played by Ben-Stokes-Labaca. On takes f5. Knight f6. Rook ed8. Delorme's idea is to play Knight e3. On g3. Knight e2 and dominate the board. Rook f2 played by Ben-Stokes-Labaca. On b4. Delorme is looking to play on takes a3. On takes a3. Knight takes a3 and establish a winning position. On g3 played by Ben-Stokes-Labaca. On takes g3 check. King takes g3. Knight e6. On h4. On takes a3. On takes a3. Knight takes a3. Take a moment to spot the best move for Ben-Stokes-Labaca. Rook c1 is the right idea because Knight takes d4. Rook g2. King h8. On f4. Knight c4. Rook c3. Still Ben-Stokes-Labaca is losing. Shifting to the main variation. Knight takes a3. Rook c2 loses position played by Ben-Stokes-Labaca. Knight takes c2. Delorme claimed a well-earned victory.